Hey guys, I'm Lydia.
Hi, I'm Jessie.
And I'm Adam. Let's talk Hoya.
Hello everybody, annyeong.
Hola.
At first I looked over, I thought you were drinking from that.
I was.
We have like a vase of flowers that Adam put together here on the table.
And there is a peony that's opening, and I just wanted to see if it smelled.
But when I glanced over, it looked like you were drinking out of it.
I was. I'm trying to grow a
And
little.
then Jessie said, "Let me smell," but then
Right, when everything
she had to
shifted.
say hi. She sniffed the microphone
Yeah.
Smells
instead
good.
of the flower. Anyway,
Smells great.
Smells like Adam's house, which is
and
lovely.
then Patches, my cat, has also joined us, attached to Lydia.
If Lydia could stop petting her, there'd be less cat hair, which I'm allergic to, flying all over the room.
Wait, but how do you deal with that with your cat?
You're the one that told me she could stay.
Yeah, you were. She was gonna put Patches down, and you're like, "No, no, no."
I did
She
say
was
that,
like, or
but
she could just stay.
I didn't know you were actively de-shedding her as she was
I was
there.
putting her the whole time.
I vacuum like 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And when I'm not vacuuming, the Roomba is. And I have this Allerpet thing that I put on her, and it really helps with
You know,
the allergy to a cat.
you know those people that think that you know those bushy plants where like if you put it in your mouth it like puffs up.
No,
her
I've never
tail-
put plants in
her
my
tail
mouth.
just went in my mouth.
Oh my goodness. Are you seeing this? You need to go sit outside. We can record from out
I
there.
am seeing this. That's why I'm waiting for your reaction to see it.
There's cat hair flying everywhere. I cannot work in these conditions. Oh my lord. Can I have a like paper bag? Just like cover me.
Hold on.
Oh.
Okay. Can you? Oh my god, she's shaking it all off in front of the fan.
I have a fan on the floor right there.
Oh,
Beyonce.
it's like everything is blowing here. Literally, look at that. Can you stop moving?
I know I'm done. I don't know.
Look at my straw is covered in cat. It looks like a buttered chicken that you like dipped in feathers.
It's not that bad. You make me seem like my home is just.
No, your home is fine. It's the de-shedding the cat right as we're hitting the record button.
I was gonna put her down. He said it was fine.
I said it was fine to hold her. I didn't say de-shed her on camera. Anyway, now that you guys have been able to see how
Is our queen?
dysfunctional we are,
Is our queen fine?
no, I'll be fine.
Oh, if that makes it onto
Next
the,
week, Jessica's gonna bring a plastic
Yeah.
bag to cover hers.
that makes it onto the if that makes it onto the pod, I think that would be a very good clip to go over to YouTube and look at and watch.
I'm okay with it being online. Like, I'm not trying to act like I'm not a diva. I am a diva, okay? I was born this way.
Mm-hmm. Beyonce sang that song about you.
Yeah, she really did.
Is a diva.
We good?
Yeah, we're fine.
So, a friendly reminder, if you have any questions for us, you can send them to letstalk.hoya@gmail.com. It's a new thing that we're doing. We ask that you usually don't ask for like care tips or anything in our DMs, but if you send us an email, we will answer them in one of our episodes. So
Did we get any?
no.
Oh, we just announced it. It just went out today.
Yeah. So then I was like, well, might as well, put that here. So then maybe next time we'll have something.
It went out during a answering your questions episode. So
Yeah. Yeah.
for now, I think the masses are appeased.
It'll be more of a sharing our thoughts. There we go. That's what we said last time. So anyway, putting that there. But today I feel like it's been a little bit of time since we talked about any new publications or just stuff going on in the Hoya world. So I thought it'd be fun to share some articles or posts or people and just things that are going on in the Hoya world for any of you all that might be little scientific nerds and want to read into things. And so there will be show notes where all of the links will be linked, but we're just going to go over some things that we found that have posted within the last year or so.
Yay.
Little miss.
Busy, just a busy bee.
I'm Googling, guys.
But I was on the Facebook groups and on Instagram just trying to look around and see kind of what was out there. And we had a interview and episode with Fraser Cook, episode 53, if that's something that you want to listen to. And at that point last year when we were doing the recording with him, he was telling us that he was going to be heading out to Indonesia to do his PhD work and stuff like that. And it looks like it's full steam on the way, so much information. If you follow him on @Botanical Otter on Instagram, he's always posting on there some of the work that he's doing. But also if you go on YouTube, I saw that he's posted a few YouTube videos just on updates and things like that. And so a lot of really great information that he's sharing. And so if that's stuff that you're interested in, he's a really great one to follow, because he's also talking about, plant poaching and ethical practices and plant hunters and what all that means, while still trying to look into the species and stuff like that. So lots of really cool work I feel like he's doing.
Yeah, he's really the nature superstar king out there.
Mm-hmm.
I love watching his videos.
He is pretty active on Instagram stories. So you kind of see a little bit of his day-to-day life. He adopted a cat, and then he was trying to save stray cats.
Which I'm sure there's just tons of stray animals in general in that part of the country. I couldn't live there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it.
Because you'd want to take everything home, not because you hate animals.
Yes, because I would want to save all the animals. Yeah. But two interesting things that I saw was that Fraser did a talk at the Singapore Botanical Garden. I guess they're doing a speaker series, and he talked about plant hunters, resellers, sustainability, and the plant trade overall in Indonesia. And that's on his YouTube, but we'll also link it. But I thought it was super interesting. And then I saw there's a Facebook group by Stemma Journal. Mm-hmm. And that group, it's pretty active. A lot of people post new stuff in there, different hybrids and crosses and articles that people find. But one of the things that I saw, so remember a couple of years ago, there was the Spardioides that came out, but it was the affinity, AFF.Spardioides.
Yes.
Well, I guess for the last 2 years, it's been under works for that to get a name and be published. So that just got published this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we've talked about this before. What does affinity mean?
It means it's a certain type of Hoya. So there's Spardioides, and this Hoya has an affinity to a Spardioides. So they were calling it, but it's not Spardioides, but it's very similar. So they add affinity to it. So affinity Spardioides now has a name.
Wow. And that's in the Stemma page?
Well, I can link it. It's a separate publication that was done, but it was published in 2025, April 2025 this year, by Mikkel Rada and Sri Rahayu, are two trusted and loved and adored botanists. But I guess it's a night blooming species. They officially named it Hoya biruensis.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. And Fraser made a whole post about it, but I guess he was saying for this Hoya, he says, quote, "Due to keeping things for publication, I can't share with you ecological data and conservation information. However, I highly suggest growing this on orchid bark and not much medium. It's a very interesting Hoya in the wild."
It does look just like Spartibroides.
That makes me sad about not sharing it, because then the hunters will go to that exact spot and wild farm it. Like, that's why they have to keep those under wraps now.
Because they're already like few and far between. And then.
But again, like,
I get what you mean by it makes you sad. It's like we can't have nice things because if you said it, then it'd be gone in like a second.
Yeah. And I remember back in the day, like, Spartioides was becoming critically endangered in the wild. And I think like Ted Green was going and like trying to and Kloppenberg were going to try to like reestablish that population. I don't think it was because of wild farming, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. I wonder what it was like back in those days. You know, if they dealt with the same kind of stuff, but like on a different scale. I don't know.
Yeah. It has to be a much bigger scale now, though.
I think
because there's like social media and people like know about things, because they were saying,
I think it's readily available.
Yeah. And there was that like one publication that we read, or like someone had said at one point where like the science can't keep up with the people. And they're even like finding out about new species via Facebook, not even like seeing it in situ or anything like that. Right. And they're trying. So I feel like with social media, that's really, really like catapulted
the yin and the
and like
yang.
Fueled, you know, kind of everything that's going on. Yeah. So I bet it was a little bit different, because even like in that time, they were still doing the whole like write us a postcard and send us a picture, and then we'll include it in our next newsletter. Remember that? Yeah. So it's like just a different time.
It was kind of like this, where they're like, if you have a question, send it in. And then like you had to read the letters to the editor at the next issue. And
except it probably takes like 2 months for them to get back.
I wonder if they were like, and let us know how specifically and quickly and importantly you want us to answer your question.
For a question episode.
Dear Barbara, thank you for sending this in 4 months ago. Seeing that you had an extreme thrips infestation, your plant is probably dead, but here's what we recommend.
God.
Just a different time. But anyway,
but also much the same.
Yeah. I thought it was awesome that, you know, we literally talked to him last year and he was excited about getting ready to go to Indonesia. And now he's like out there doing the work and publishing stuff and talking about stuff, and being able to see that in probably not like real time, but like as real time as it gets is pretty cool, I feel.
Cool.
So what have you guys seen? Anything out there?
Okay, so one of the newest publications of a Hoya that I saw on Facebook and found was the Hoya Sungwookie.
Oh,
Sungwookie.
Can you spell that?
Sungwookii. This is from Vietnam. This one.
Sungwookie. Yeah.
It has a green corona that's like almost a little bit, I would say, on these type specimen, like on this publication, it kind of fades. It has like dark green tip and light green like inner corona. Corona. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, it's so pretty.
And the leaves are pretty too.
Yeah. The leaves also remind me very much of like that Hoya species hummingbird that I think was named something else that I can't remember right now.
It also kind of reminds me of like, are the leaves like fuzzy, or it kind of reminds me of like a Lei / sigillatus /
yeah, kind of like a fatter tipped Lei.
Yeah.
Like anyway, I think it's super cute. These
like
flowers.
If Lei, sigillatus, Pandorata had a baby together.
Yeah, I can see the Pandorata.
It would be something like that.
There.
But the coloring is giving more caudata. Is that the right one? Caudata?
Mm-hmm.
The coloring.
The like flecks
like the silver. Like it looks like it's like silvery.
Okay. Which picture are you looking at? Okay, that's a very splashy one.
Oh, let me see which one you're looking at.
I'm looking at the publication.
Show me.
I'm looking at one. That's what I'm looking at, and it's not as.
In the one that they collected in the wild has a splash, but the other type specimen does not.
It is the right one, right?
Yeah, that one just must be one that's particularly.
Well, this is the one I want.
It does seem like the leaves are a little bit thicker, like closer to probably like the Lei vibe too. I'm just obsessed with those flowers, and they called it a lax umbel something, just to signify that like it's not a tightly packed umbel like you would think of like Carnosa, Mathilde, like those all are kind of
cluster.
The Exilus kind of has a firework type flower that kind of stretches out. It's not as skinny as the Exilus, but it kind of stretches out like that, where it's
Are you gonna kill me if I say maybe we can put a picture of this?
No.
I bet.
I'm putting the picture I showed you.
But
on
I still am like I'm just
Trello.
so obsessed with this flower.
It's gorgeous.
Because Seongwook sounds like a Korean name. I bet the person that's named after is Korean.
Well, it does say who it's named after. It's named after Mr. Song-wook, who first found this plant
Seongwook, yeah.
in
He's
nature
probably
and
Korean.
kindly shared his discovery for our study.
That's so cool. I love it.
So this Hoya is only found in a very it is labeled critically endangered based off of the conservation parameters, but it is found in a single location in a densely populated coastal tourist area in southern Vietnam.
Wow.
According to his profile, he's from Busan, South Korea.
So
I know my Korean names.
it is I think it's considered currently extinct in its local habitat, or this publication listed as Locus classicus. But I'm not sure. I've not really seen or heard of this Hoya.
Me neither.
But obviously, Jesse pulled up a picture, and it was somebody's in their collection. But
Of course.
kind of want one now because I want that flower in my life.
It's very cute. It's very pretty.
The closest relation to this one is the Hoya. I don't want to oblongicutifolia.
I've never even heard of that Hoya before.
Well, UPT sells it.
Really? I want to pull
They're
it up.
all similar.
Songwookiai.
This is the
Oh
variety
my gosh,
I
the
want.
flowers are adorable.
On which one are you talking about?
Oblongicutifolia.
Yeah.
They're like the corona is almost like a peachy pink, and then like further in the middle is like a hot pink.
Yeah.
But they're so cute.
It is cute. So are the Songwookiai. Wookai.
I mean, the foliage is a little on the oblongicutifolia is a little underwhelming, but the flowers are adorable. I would literally grow it.
That oblongicutifolia kind of reminds me of the Thuathuiensis.
That's what I was thinking too. But did you see the flowers though? They look so cute.
Yeah. But nothing looks cuter than those green corona flowers. So like I really need a green flower in my life, people. If you are out there and you have a specimen that it has a green flower,
Get into those DMs. This is your chance.
Slide over to Dunk Daddy's DMs.
My Hoya
Give Daddy what he wants.
from Sumatra Island is budded up right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the flowers are going to look like. So once they open, I'll send you a picture. Maybe they'll be green. Because on the outside, they kind of look kind of like limey-ish. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to look like. So
That's
I'll have to wait and
exciting.
see. I'm super excited.
Wait, can you pull up a picture of that one?
I was just trying to look it up and
And also add it to Trello?
Yep.
One thing that I
because
found...
it's pulling up Sumatra, which it's not Sumatra. It's Sumatra. Okay, but continue.
Lydia is you can tell she uses a mechanical keyboard at home because it's
I just type ferociously.
a ferocious typer. One thing I found very interesting about this publication is they have to conserve the flowers, especially when they're doing like a type specimen that they're sending in. Because you know how like the foliage always looks busted in like busted crescent on how we always have talked about them looking on the herbarium sheets. Well, they usually put the flower in like alcohol
Mm-hmm.
to preserve it.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
looking at the flower that they're doing all their measurements on this publication, it's like faded in color because I think it was probably just preserved in alcohol. But it's not cute like that. It's very much like brown.
Ooh, but it almost looks like porcelain.
Oh,
pearl.
interesting.
But it's kind of wild to think that they just like put that in well, I'm guessing they probably just stick it in a tube until it gets back to wherever it's going, traveling to.
And it stays preserved and they
To
bring
get
it back.
these photos
That's
Huh.
crazy.
and measurements.
Everyone's so
Official.
creative.
Look at everybody beans. Anyway, I think people were trying to do that with flowers to do some resin stuff too. I should throw a Bella flower into alcohol to see what happens.
Because I
Yeah.
feel like the thing is, like, it has to preserve in the way there's like no more moisture, right? Because if not, then it'll mold inside the resin.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know how it's done. But remember, one of our listeners sent us keychains that had the Hoya
Oh,
blooms in
yeah.
it. I still have mine hung on my Millsbow,
Mine's hung on the Bella.
but it like looks perfect.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure mine's on my keys.
Yeah. You're
And
right.
I'm like, that's pretty impressive, actually.
That
like
is.
one time, a long time ago, I tried to preserve a flower that I had picked and it molded and rotted and died. That's when I
have
was a kid.
A lot of flowers I preserved.
Cool.
But
Molded and rotted and died.
yeah, it's really sad. Oh, but what about you, Jesse? What have you seen?
What I saw lately was
What you been looking at?
Sarisa? Yeah, Sarisa's post about being at the plant expo, and she got a couple hybrids registered. One of them being,
Teresa's really good about that.
I know, that's like, my girl must say like pollinating, right?
Because she
Re-
knows how to hand pollinate.
So she's getting them registered as so they can like actually register it as a cultivar.
So yeah, so she took the mother plant Hoya surisana and the daddy plant Hoya archboldiana and made Hoya suridiana, which won certification or something at this event. And I think it's so pretty.
Because it also has like the pictures of the blooms, right?
I love that she always says mother, father.
Yeah.
The way she does
Those
the Can I see that
blooms
again?
are so pretty.
Can I see it again?
So freaking pretty. Because
really like the
Surizana blooms are already like gorgeous.
It's like a big, almost like an umbrella, white with like a little dainty pink in the middle. And then the
Yeah,
Hoya
they're very
archboldiana is like a really big pink one.
But they're those big like campanulate type
Yeah.
blooms.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like the perfect like inception of both of them.
Cute.
So that's what I saw lately. That's all I know about that.
I just scratched the fuck out of my nose.
Oh, are you
I
okay?
couldn't tell if it was a sneeze or
And I
a.
went to itch my nose and I forgot I had this little jaggy ring on. I had this tore it up.
Did you cry? Do you want to? We won't tell no one.
Patchy is concerned.
That was I'm
about
jumping
you.
up. Jump. The squeak. Oh,
Oh my god, she's so cute. Look at her. Don't touch her though.
no touchy.
Yeah,
No
she can be
touchy,
up
touchy.
here, but no
No
touchy.
touchy touchy.
She's fine being up here. Just don't pet her and let her hair fly everywhere.
But yeah, that Hoya is beautiful. Was there another one though? There's two of them.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to mention the other ones later, but I guess we can talk about them all now. There is also the problem is she also doesn't have the name of all of the mom and dads. She has Hoya Victoria, which mother is this big flower,
Wallichii,
Wallichii.
SLM02 probably.
and then
Chlorantha probably.
it looks like that, but I'm pretty sure she names it later because she did two different hybrids with that one, and both of them got registered there.
It looks like SLM02, Wallichii, and then Chlorantha.
Oh wait, I had gotten a screenshot of one of them, which does have the name. But yeah, that Wallichii flower, that's kind of scary. It kind of looks like one of those death blooms
Yeah, I don't love it.
on the
Let me see.
cactuses.
Oh,
See? Oh, would it be Verstigii or no?
What could be
that does look very
Verstigii?
similar to Verstigii.
Because
flowers.
see,
But there's a lot of different Hoya that have a flower shaped like that.
Yeah.
It could be though.
But she posted this like earlier that year.
That for sure.
Yeah. So it was
is
Hoya
Versteegii.
wallichii subspecies tenebrosa is the mother, and the father is Hoya versteegii, which is the wavy one, right?
Yeah, the fuzzy wavy one.
That's crazy.
So this is Hoya Victoria.
Yes.
Ooh, I wonder what the leaves are like on Miss Victoria. Because we only are seeing a flower in this picture.
Yeah. I mean,
And the flower looks really cool. It kind of looks like it looks like Patrick Starfish.
is this? I'm not.
Because I'm wondering if the
Yeah, the flower, the Victoria flower looks like Patrick the Starfish got turned inside out.
yeah.
And it's
Google
gonna
is
swallow me.
fired because it's trying to tell me there's no specific cultivar named Hoya Victoria. Well, you're wrong.
And then the third one is Hoya Valentina, which again, I believe is the Hoya versteegii is the father. And then I don't know what.
It's patella
Maybe?
pink.
Yeah, looks like patella pink is the mother. So she just made that patella pink in white, but with a little pink.
Wait, I want to
center.
see it again. Can I see it again?
She's very good at cross-pollinating
Oh,
like
that's
that companionate
cool.
flower
Yeah.
bloom.
It must be
It's
easy
like-
because like that thing's huge.
It's like two things with her. One, she can hand pollinate, and then two, she can get her plants to bloom,
Yeah.
which are
And
like
actually open up like all the way. 'Cause
two
those
very
ones-
hard things to do. I feel like.
the subspecies Timbrosa, we had that, or
Mm-hmm.
Wallichii. That bloomed all the time, the single bloom, but it never fully opened because it
Yeah.
was like not humid enough. It kind of
It has to be in like high humidity to open.
It was a one dayer for me, like overnight. So then I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
is she just like on top of her? Because she's taking those photos each time.
Yeah. Hoya Victoria looks like a big, like, open nose or something. I don't know. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable. But same with the Wallichii.
It looks like a butthole.
I smelled a bloom and I had to look and I noticed you have a bloom here.
That one. I think it's dying.
The plant's dying?
I think
It's
so.
a death bloom.
I think it's a death bloom.
Well, give it a moment up here because
Yeah.
that one it literally smelled like mint in like I smelled it and then I had a minty feeling still in my nostrils.
I mean, I'm gonna save it, but I think it's a
Wait, I
really
wanna smell
situation
it.
because it's not rehydrating.
Still gorgeous.
I'm going to smell it. Did we smell this last week?
Yeah. No, we smelled it on your birthday weekend.
It still smells.
I don't remember
It
this.
still smells like Pepto.
Well, you like really take a big sniff
Oh, yeah.
and it feels like menthol in your nose.
It does. It has a very minty, very menthol, very Pepto Bismol
It
type.
smells like oleander.
It is the Hoya matrata.
But look at that. Look at how that umbel is.
I do love these flowers. It's a very erect umbel, pointed directly up. And I talked to a friend of the pod, Wendy, show.me.your.leaves. Wendy.
Remember, she was like, "You can just say, show me your leaves."
No, because what if
And-
there's somebody else with that handle?
And she confirmed that hers was just blooming also, and that hers is her peduncles are sticking straight up like that too.
Oh, wow.
So interesting how it does
So-
that. I don't understand.
Put it right here.
Oh.
For the people.
If you wanna check it out,
If you're just listening, you should log on to our YouTube to see this beautiful bloom.
but yeah, I do like that bloom. I got a little time lapse of them kind of opening, but I was like moving my camera around a lot, so I missed some of them. But these leaves are
They're
just
gorgeous.
not rehydrating.
Yeah.
So I'm
It's
gonna-
okay. It can be saved.
Oh yeah, I've
Yeah.
rerooted plants much bigger than this, so I gotta just get to my chores. You know, I got chores stacking up, and I need to get them done. But
Same.
she's a cutie. That was a first bloom. for
Very
me.
beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was all three of Sarisa's posts that I was.
Okay, so where was Sarisa at? Like, where was
she
this
was
thing?
at a plant expo
In Thailand or
in-
something.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up. It's called the Nunuch Plant Expo International 2025.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine going to a plant expo in Thailand?
Yeah, that would be crazy.
That would be so much fun.
That would be a dream. They probably have such good mangoes in Thailand. I freaking love mangoes.
Well, I
Not
don't love
you.
mangoes.
Not you going from plant expo to mangoes.
I mean, you gotta have your mangoes while you're there. So I was doing a search on Google, and there's actually quite a few publications that came out like between 24 to 2025. And I thought they were quite interesting. So, of course, there was the Hoya bureauensis that got published by Mikhail Rada and Sri Rahayu. There's another one in April of this year, 2025, that came out by Noorayani Talib, Nur Hassan Hussein, Nur Saizwani Basir. I'm just not going to say the name.
Yeah.
There's another publication. There's another publication that came out in April 2025, and it is the anatomical and micromorphological characteristics of 5 Hoya species, specifically to peninsular Malaysia. And so what they did was they looked more deeply into Hoya caulina, diversifolia. Apparently, there's a Hoya fraterna.
Really?
Which is that, older publication Fraterna. I did not know that. There's a Hoya Fraterna, Finlaysonii, and then Acuta. And so that's an interesting article. And of course, like I said, we'll link all of the articles in the show notes. But basically, they just wanted to go over like general characteristics, if there's any variation, the anatomy, and then just see like the key aspects to these species and how they were identified, which I thought was pretty interesting. So that's one that came out in 2025.
Is that where the botanists of these days are going and back and kind of reanalyzing all of these species that were previously published just to see if they should be reclassified, regrouped differently?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. It seems like what they were doing was just observing more closely what all the common features are of those Hoya. And so there's a ton of information, and it like breaks it down like really in depth, opposed to like new Hoya species like publications. Like they actually go down to like the DNA and everything. So a lot of information. Some of it doesn't even make sense to me. But if you're into it and you want to know more about it and all of that jazz, then lucky for you, we'll have an article linked for that.
Exactly.
And then a month before that, in March of 2025, there was another article that came out with 3 new varieties of Hoya elagiorum. And they're in single quotations. So that means that they're cultivar. There's one called Moonlight, another one called Sunkissed, and Starburst.
Ooh.
Sounds super gay and I love it.
So like the 3 main differences.
How do you spell the actual Hoya though? Hoya.
Elagiorum. Ilagiorum. And so there are 3 new varieties of that Hoya, and they were officially registered. And the key differences they were saying, so Hoya Moonlight, I guess, has a dainty, creamy yellow inflorescence consisting of 31 to 112 individual flowers within the umbel, which is crazy amount of flowers.
Damn.
Crazy amount of flowers.
That is a lot of flowers.
And then the Sunkissed, I guess, has really striking leaves that are semi-globulose to globose. And the umbels have about 37 to 73 individual flowers. But I guess each of them are highly reflexed and very shiny. And they vary from like yellow to brownish pink on the edges, which sounds beautiful. And then Starburst has flowers that are in a semi-globose umbel. But I guess there's a variation in color. So some of them are like a creamy yellow and some of them have a reddish outline. And so they're all Hoya that are from the Philippines and officially registered and recognized as new varieties of Hoya lagiorum.
Wild.
I didn't even know that like that could be a cultivar. You know what I mean? Like a different variety of a single Hoya is now registered as a cultivar.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
So that's fun. We'll see if we see those hit the market and what those maybe end up looking like, which will be interesting. Okay, but the article that I haven't fully read yet, but I'm really excited about was one that actually came out in 2024 of March of 2024. This is the morphological diversity and evolutionary changes of Pollinaria in Hoya. So what they did was they looked at the pollinarium of 85 different Hoya species and 4 subspecies, and they investigated them thoroughly. And so I just thought this was fascinating. So I guess like the longest pollinarium in Hoya is in multiflora.
Wow.
And then the widest pollinarium is in Archboldiana, which I feel like makes sense because Archboldiana is like such a big flower. And then the smallest pollinarium found in Hoya is in Hoya bilobata.
Oh, wow. Not minutiflora?
No. Which is kind of interesting. And I'm wondering if like minutiflora
was even submitted.
Was like one of the ones that they looked at. So my assumption is like of the 85 species and subspecies that they looked at were like the contenders that they made for this.
Which makes sense.
Of those ones. But it's really interesting because there's like so much variation in all of the polonium. And so they go over like all the different like shapes and characteristics. And I think especially like anybody who's maybe interested in hand pollination or anything like that, like this could be an interesting article and read about it and see how they're different and maybe give you a little bit more insight. So I thought that one was fun.
Pollinarium is like the little capsules that the pollen is contained in, that once you lock those into the channel, like for self-pollinating, which are hand pollinating, a little tube comes out, like kind of grows out and delivers the pollen into the flower. But like it has to be locked in. That's from my understanding. Like, so the pollinarium they're talking about is like, is it just one side of that, or is it like the whole thing combined with like the little, like, is the whole thing a pollinarium?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
Is that what because that's what I would think, but I don't know.
But it is interesting. But locking it into the channel is like the hardest thing.
Oh my gosh.
That's the part that just like gets you. And then you think you got it.
The part that gets you is the fact that like a bug can just I'm walking by and
then
do
slip.
it. Yeah. But we're like zoomed in, tools and all.
Yeah. No, I bet Teresa could do it with like her eyes closed at this point. But anyway, yeah.
These pollinaria look very much like a bunch of like etymology, like with wings, like a bunch of bug wings.
It
like
does.
moths.
But it's like so wild how big and large they look when you're looking at them on there.
Yeah.
And then when you're like faced with it in real life, they are so tiny. They are like little specks. And
Absolutely.
it's wild and it's so freaking hard. But anyway, I thought that one was really interesting.
That is a really interesting article. And I'm like excited to read that now.
But there's just like so much stuff out there and people are doing all the things. So anyway, all of those will be linked. And honestly, I feel like the thing about like Hoya publications is like we don't have a place where like someone's announcing like this is a publication that's come out. And so we end up sometimes not finding articles until a whole year has passed. And it's like the first time that we've heard about it. And honestly, if any of y'all find, any new articles that we've never talked about, I mean, share them, because I think that's the way that we find out about them, is that people share them,
Mm-hmm.
But what else?
Sorry, I started looking at that.
Isn't it interesting though? It's
at
really interesting. Also, I bet because they're so small, I bet they were going like cross-eyed at one point trying to like really, even with using like a microscope, I feel like
to measure a spot for like furniture, and if there it goes anywhere in between like a half an inch or to the 1 inch, I'm like so confused. And the unit of measurement that they have to measure these very minute, like
it's like nano something, right?
wild
Yeah. It's crazy.
Oh,
But anyway, anything else that you guys have seen? And if not, that's okay too.
I don't have anything else that I.
I did just see something on unsolicited plant talks.
Mm-hmm.
Hoya Emerald Frost.
Oh, what's that?
Look at how cute it is. It's got hot pink edges.
Oh my gosh.
The one I just sent you guys this on the. I just sent you all a reel.
This is on Unsolicited Plant Talks Instagram. Did
Hoya.
they just post this reel today?
You know, I like how Google just gives you unsolicited AI overview, even if you don't ask for it. But
2
anyway,
days ago.
it says Hoya para Emerald Frost is a cultivar of Hoya species para, known for its beautiful variegated leaves.
It is gorgeously variegated and stunning. So this must be new.
Oh
'Cause,
my
you know, it is
gosh.
new because it's wherever she keeps her special Hoya. They're right on top of that cabinet. That's
Yeah,
like her.
that's all of her special Hoya spot. Okay, look at this one that someone, I mean, it's edited, but still, look at this one that someone posted on Instagram.
That's para? Or is that the,
The
emerald?
Emerald Frost.
Wow.
Okay, so what I'm looking at is a Hoya that kind of reminds me of like.
The Madara, if it was in order.
And it kind of reminds me of like the variegated, like Carnosa varieties. It looks a little bit like the Suzy Q leaf shape at some points, like when you got the big leaves of the Suzy Q. Like it kind of like cupped in.
It reminds me of like a non-round version of the Subquinta.
Yeah. I've never liked that
Subquinta
Hoya.
planorbis.
I have never liked that Hoya.
This
The
one?
Hoya Subquinta planorbis. Yeah, because those look like they're like much bigger, rounder leaves, but these look like a smaller version of that,
Yeah.
which is interesting. Huh. You know who I had forgotten about for a little while, and I was just on their Facebook today, and like there's just like so much stuff posted. Was a Hoya study corner by SC Plants. Remember they had like the cards, those Hoya cards that we were always talking about, and so this Facebook page is ran by Patamate and filled with like amazing information. And honestly, like he posts pretty consistently. And like some of the stuff that he's been talking about lately is just like comparing different types of Cumingiana, and posting like all the leaf shapes and the flowers. He talks about, you know, like whenever there's a new publication that comes out, sometimes he'll post it, but he compares a lot of different types of Hoya species, which I always find to be very interesting. There was something that I saw recently that he was doing, and he was making like a little informational thing about like botanists and plant collectors from way back in the day, and just like posting information about them, which I think is interesting because these are people from like, there's someone on here from like 1869,
That's
from
wild.
1927.
I really adore how he does the graphics and
It's so
the collages.
good. And
Yeah.
like literally someone from 1861. Oh, that person didn't live a very long time.
R.I.P.
And just, you know, the people and plant or Hoya that were named after them, like what areas that they were in. And I think that's super interesting. And he always just shares such good Hoya information that's very well, you know, put together and researched and thought out. And so definitely a page that, you know, I always like coming to, the Hoya Study Corner by SC Plants. And I don't know if he's still selling his Hoya cards. I know it's like a limited thing. Because of course he just kind of does it on his own and manufactures it. He doesn't have like a big like publishing company or anything like that, but definitely good information. Just like so much good information on here. So a great one to follow and look through and see what else he's posting because there's good information. But yeah.
I forgot about this the SC plant corner.
I did for a little while too, but then once you start scrolling, you're like, "Ooh, that's interesting. That's cool." Like,
I'm like, "Ooh, fun."
there's comparing flowers, comparing foliage, comparing just different Hoya. Like he was comparing between like Hoya Ubon Pink and Hoya Subquinta Planorbis. And the different flowers between them, and it's just fascinating stuff that he does. So,
and I know we said it in an episode, our last episode, but an Instagram account, the Hoya Archive, that is a newer one. We kind of, is that the one by Michael?
Yes.
Green?
Yes.
Deep dives into some nerdy things, but a lot of focus on cobia.
Like the older stuff, which is really hard to find, which is also fascinating.
So if you want to nerd out, there are definitely spots like those.
Yeah.
Which, choose your own adventure.
Yeah. And if that's something that you're interested in, like I said, there will be show notes that'll be linked. If you just go straight into our bio on this episode, or if you're on YouTube, then you can go on the, what do they call that? The description. Yeah.
Yes.
And that'll be linked there, and we'll have all of the articles and everything that we talked about linked, so that if you're interested, then you can take a look.
Yeah. And don't forget to follow us over on Instagram. We are at lets.talkhoya, and you can also follow all of your hosts individually. I am at NotDude.
I'm at thegreenplant.az.
And I'm at Perritos y Plants. Adios.
Annyeong.
Bye. I was trying to get you with the button.